Well, welcome into the WVLT newsroom here on Wednesday, January the 28th. We're glad you're joining us for Catch Up Quick here in this middle of the week as we are still cold in East Tennessee. Today, we're going to go through what you can expect over the next couple of days in your weather world and also some things that are happening across the state of Tennessee as we continue to dig out of this cold stretch in Middle and West Tennessee, dig out of that snow and ice that they saw from the winter weather that we experienced through the middle of the week. Now, just recently, Governor Bill Lee has issued an executive order. This executive order really opens up TDOT's ability to do much more on roads, all across the state of Tennessee. Historically, TDOT can only operate on roads that are state-owned and operated. So think your neighborhood roads or any back road in the county or town that you live in. Those are now accessible by TDOT while this executive order is in place. The idea for this executive order from Governor Lee is to allow TDOT to work on more roads in the state, clear them quicker and cleaner so that those linemen, especially in the middle part of the state, can access those lines, those power poles faster than they have been able to before. This is not a knock on county crews. This is not a knock on city crews. It just adds one more tool to the toolbox for county and state and TDOT crews to be able to clear those roads, especially in Middle Tennessee. You're looking at about 150,000 customers. We're not talking people, we're talking customers alone who are still without power, and we're going on 5 days since the brunt of this winter storm hit Tennessee as a whole. And so this is, again, just another tool to the tool shed. Now, what we also know is that TDOT in Knoxville has sent crews to Middle Tennessee to help assist with all of the cleanup there. This is a look at those crews from Knoxville taking down trees that are ice-ridden. This shared to us by Mark Nagy, who works out of the Knoxville TDOT office and is also the comms director for District 1, which is East Tennessee all the way up to the border with Virginia and North Carolina. So this is just a look at these crews. Really, all they have the option to do is take apart these trees, take them down, and then they'll figure out what to do with them from here. But again, a lot of crews in East Tennessee heading west to Nashville and points beyond to help then clean up. These were in counties just to the north and west of Nashville, where this video of this great all is coming from. So they're just getting, again, a good little look at how they're starting and working in these cleanup processes. So we're going to go ahead and get you to your first alert weather. What everybody is asking and wanting to know right now is we bring in first alert meteorologist Kyle Granger. Kyle, happy Wednesday. Glad you're with us.
It's cold.
Yeah, I'm sure
it hasn't changed since the last time we had a conversation. But yeah, we are looking at the cold weather to continue. And really this weekend's going to be extremely cold. We're looking at some negative values in terms of what it feels like going forward on Saturday. So yeah, that cold weather is going to be with us. And we're also looking at another snow threat for parts of the Friday into Saturday. I think it's more of a mountain thing, but you know, you were just talking about the roadways. I saw a school bus driver from Sevier County share her route yesterday on one of those Speaks Out groups, and she said, this is what I would have to drive over with my bus. This is why the school is still out. The mountain peaks and different things. Sevier County has different elevations as we know about, and some of those roads still are ice covered and have not been cleared. So perhaps maybe those TDOT crews will be able to help the county crews get out there to work on some of that. So yeah, we still have that cold air and another potential. We are still in winter, of course. This one more probably of a Carolina snow threat, but nonetheless, it's just close enough that it can sling back some moisture. We're already cold, so you mix that together, you get that.
And as we go to the middle of the state, as you worked this weekend, you saw the impacts here. We didn't have as much here at home as they did in the middle parts of the state. But as you look at some of this video, and I know you've seen stuff on social media and the rest of it, your reaction from having lived in this state for a long time.
Well, I've never seen it where Knoxville was this own little isolated heat bubble where nothing happened. But you go just outside Roane County. I have friends who live in Roane County, and they were saying, yeah, it's bad on my back road, my secondary road, especially when you get closer to the lake near Kingston and things like that. So it's like we got in this little bubble here in Knoxville. Not out of the question that we get in that horseshoe effect, which we see here. It was a little strange that we were that warm throughout parts of Sunday, but nonetheless, if we would have had all of this come down as snow that we had as rain, we would be looking at 8 inches of snowfall here. So nonetheless, it could be a different story. Count your blessings that we only have the minor issues that we've had. But we'll continue to watch until we're out of winter, and then we'll have the storm threat season for spring.
And then it rolls right back around. Yeah. Let me ask you this, because we're going to get to a story with our Caitlin Walsh here in just a second. Do you have a fireplace at home?
I do not.
Okay, neither do I.
I have one of those, you turn it on, it looks pretty, and you turn it back
off. It doesn't look pretty anymore. But it's important for folks who do have it. We've talked to Rural Metro, we talk with Knoxville Fire often. This is a critical point of year where a lot of people are turning to their fireplaces for heat, maybe to save a little bit of money, maybe you like the smell. But if you don't clean them.
Yeah, it was about 3 weeks ago. I told my aunt who lives here in Knoxville, I said, you need to get that taken care of because there's some long range models showing at least some extreme cold, even if we don't get the snow. And so hopefully she told me that she had that work done. But yeah, it's that time of the year, and it's before you do it, we have to heat our homes, right? We're trying to stay warm as best we can, and if you have that, that's a good backup if you do manage to lose power. But just make sure that you're following those instructions that they say to have that person come in and make sure it's clean. I heard in this story when she was there talking about how the little dust gets on it. You might not be able to see it, but it's there. It's just like our countertops and things like that. If you don't give it a good dusting every now and then, of course, that is a huge fire hazard.
Yeah, a huge fire hazard. We're going to show you this story from our Caitlin Walsh talking with how important it is to make sure that no matter what sort of fireplace you have, that it's serviced and especially that chimney is clean. Let's take a listen to what they told Caitlin, and we'll be back on the other side.
Ronald Kidd said he has not used his fireplace in years, but now he can.
Dust would build up on the logs. So after a period of time, the dust builds up on them and puts out a distinct odor that you can't stand. And it sets off your alarms on the inside of your house.
Kidd called Jonah Lindley from Ash Busters. They are a chimney cleaning service.
So you want to get your chimney inspected annually. That's the National Fire Prevention Association guideline, and then we clean as needed.
Lindley says cleaning your chimney can prevent your home from going up in flames.
The cleaning is to remove the soot that's left behind from burning wood, mostly. And we want to get that out because if there's enough of it inside the system, then it can be combustible and be a fuel that'll cause damage to the chimney or the house.
Rural Metro Fire says they have received roughly 25 calls for chimney fires, and that if a chimney fire goes unnoticed, that it can cause significant damage to other parts of your home, like your attic. Lindley recommends a certain season of the year to get your chimney cleaned.
The best time of the year to get these inspections done is going to be the summer months. It's when our call volume is a little bit lighter. And if we do find any issues internally, it gives you plenty of time to address those issues before the burning season. And that way you're prepared for a colder winter or a crazy freak storm like we had here.
He says if you get your chimney inspected during the summer and cleaned, that will give you plenty of time before the burning season to get it fixed.
Yeah, really critical reminders of just how important it is to clean that up. But Kyle, the other thing is that you have those chimney fires, but also people are taking other things into their homes to heat them, especially if they lose power. But those other ways to heat your home can create issues too.
Yeah, we don't want to bring in the gas grill or anything like that. I mean, it's just a major problem to be able to do that. So, it's one of those things where we like to say, let's think about this before we get into this situation. Maybe we could have had those alternate heat sources or something like that, just stored in the garage or something like that, and then you bring that in. I have one of those little buddy heaters that I've seen at the parades. You saw them at the parades, and they work very good. Last year at the Gatlinburg Parade, I said, if it works that well out here,
I'm going to get one for myself.
How about I do it when we? No. How about we do it when we get into the having That distracted me there. How about maybe I can heat a room in my house or something. So I went and bought one of those so that we would have that.
Yeah. So, but it's important too, because when you get inside of the buildings, it gets into a very dangerous situation. And so actually right now in Middle Tennessee, there have been some issues of children having to go to the hospital for carbon monoxide poisoning. So we actually were able to catch up with folks at Vanderbilt who are watching this. And here's actually what one of the nurses told our station in Nashville.
Hoping that as the power is coming back on in the city and conditions are improving, these exposures will continue to go down.
Yeah, so just when you bring those heaters that aren't traditionally electric or anything, and if you don't have electricity, that's why you're bringing it in, so you can understand why people do that, but it's incredibly dangerous. But let's get back to home now. This is what we're looking at temperature-wise right now. We're supposed to get above freezing today.
Yeah, this is now. The afternoon, it's, mid-30s by the time we get to the afternoon. But the cold air is going to come right back. I mean, we're not going to melt much, and then it refreezes overnight tonight. I'm just going to zip right on forward so you understand that we have 37. That's what you were talking about with the sunshine. Then overnight, we're back to 27 by 10. Here's the way the rest of the afternoon shapes up for us where you live. 31 in Crossville, so not quite above freezing there. And then 35 out in Greenville in East Tennessee and Northeast Tennessee. We are looking at the temperatures where you live to stay pretty much in the 30s for the rest of the afternoon. Not sure why we're not moving forward, but I put this in today talking about fireplaces. If you've already done that safely, throw that extra log on tonight because, again, we're back down into the 20s by the time 8 o'clock rolls around. And then overnight tonight, waking up tomorrow around 23, that cold air does stay with us once again. And this is the next big weather maker, and this is what so many people will be looking at going forward. So here's Friday. We've got clouds around. We'll start to see some snow flurries, some snow showers develop across the area, especially closer to the Smoky Mountains as we go. That's normal, and of course across the plateau. Then overnight Friday into Saturday, that's when the rest of us start to see some of this little light dusting like we woke up to for parts of Sunday morning and maybe even on Monday morning as well. And that will continue to move through all across the area. Again, bigger situations over the Smoky Mountains. That tries to pull out of here to clear out for Sunday, but we're just settling into this cold air that is with us. Look at Saturday morning. This is what it feels like. So the actual temperatures in the single digits and teens, throw that out the window if you have plans. Maybe we all need the fireplace, at least sit around, play some board games or something by it if we have to. -11, -10, Crossville to Oneida. Knoxville's feeling like 0, not much better at 1 in Gatlinburg. And of course, through the afternoon as those winds continue to move around, it's just going to be a cold afternoon as all of us stay feeling like the single digits, and the below numbers only get worse from there overnight into Sunday morning. So this cold pattern is with us.
And it's also important to note too that we're going to be so cold that this is going to be that fine snow. So if you're thinking, oh, I'm going to be able to make snowballs or make a snowman no matter how much you get, it's not going to be good for that. It's going to be that really
dry
light
air has settled in.
Yeah.
I was looking this morning, the dew point at 18, we're looking at some negative dew points, and that's what we use as kind of like how moist is the atmosphere, right? So even if you get a little bit of moisture, it's just going to dry up in many cases by the time it reaches the ground. So not looking at big, fat, fluffy snowflakes here on this one. The cold air is already here. But yeah, cold air, snow, looking at all of that. And of course, we'll see how things shape up once we get the finer information. It's it's one of those things. I started seeing some things circulate yesterday.
Of course.
And I said, why are we sharing this? Didn't we learn our lesson last week? Let's get closer to the event to find out exactly how it plays out for us.
And right now, just strictly, and it's important to note, for the cold temperatures on Saturday, we have a first alert weather day for Saturday. It has nothing to do with the snow as it stands right now, only for those cold temperatures.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. As always, you can get all of the up-to-date information inside your WVLT First Alert Weather app. Kyle and the entire First Alert Weather team are working on refining that forecast. Look, we know the temperatures are going to be cold. That snow activity is still going to have to be refined because, again, like last week, you could have something that moves in that puts us in we could get warmer air, or simply that low goes just a little bit further east and we get nothing but freezing cold. You can download the news app, download the weather app. We'll keep you updated all day, all week on all of that. And it's good even for days when it's sunny and 75, which I know a lot of you are dreaming of. As always, we're going to stream all day long right here on WVLT Plus, and your news continues at noon on WVLT and inside the WVLT News app. We hope you all have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you on WVLT News at noon.